You're not going crazy. You're just waking up, my friend. This is a wonderful conversation we'll have today because I feel so many people are going through this right now as the cycles are changing and we are in this cosmic transition where everything is shifting and we all feel the shift. Actually, it was predicted by many ancient cultures, but it's not about those predictions, but actually the actual facts that are happening as we are observing ourselves and we're noticing, well, if you feel like everything is false, everything you've experienced is partially false, everything you've been told is false, and you're kind of searching for the bigger picture, like what's going on, or you may feel like most people are asleep, not egoistically, not judging, but just noticing, well, people are just not paying attention to what's happening. People are ignorant. Like, you go outside and you may be entertained by butterflies and you enjoy the nature and you kind of know what you have to do. But then you're wondering, like, why people are not noticing that beauty that is already surrounding us and things like that. And you may be wondering all of a sudden, like, what's happening? And things like that start happening when we go through the process of awakening of a new perspective that we experience about life. It's actually an evolution of consciousness, and consciousness is partially divided until we unite it once again through our free will, expansion of knowledge, and change in our behavior. So truthfully, nothing is separated, but partially it is. So we experience a sensation of being lost and we start finding ourselves. We put ourselves onto a quest of self-research, self-knowledge, self-actualization. So we gather the information so we can connect the dots of what's actually happening to us. So at one point we get this bigger picture and we recognize, oh, I was never separated. Oh, I never died. Oh, I will never die. Oh, actually, everything is a constant motion of changes. And each moment is connected to the next one because life is eternal. And what is happening is just a motion of creation. And I'm just a part of this infinite creation, infinite creative process that is generated by the mind, by the cosmic mind that is connecting everything. And I am like a neuron in this cosmic mind with a unique ability to express myself through my free will the way I want to. And suddenly a person recognizes, well, if I really, have this ability to express myself uniquely, we start wondering what I have to express. What can I express? If before I was talking what I've been programmed to talk, I got into conversations to talk about what everybody's talking about, but suddenly we start wondering, well, what's my voice? What I have to share? And suddenly we notice, I have nothing to share. Because I don't know much. Like Socrates said, I'm the wisest person because I know that I know nothing. Right? And we put ourselves onto this quest of self-research. So many people are going through this process of a spiritual awakening, feeling like being partially lost, like what's going on. So the thing is, we're moving into the zodiac age of Aquarius. And as you may know, each zodiac age takes about 2,160 years. And when the Earth moves from one zodiac age into another, we go through a huge transition. It's a huge transition that happened before, but not like this one. Transition that is happening right now never happened before. That's why everybody is so excited about this. And it's been taught in ancient civilizations like Mayan civilizations. We're talking about the shift into the fifth earth. or the fifth world. Aztecs were talking about this. It was written in the Bible. This is the great shift that is happening, that everybody is talking about, the new earth, the change of paradigm, the great awakening, the golden age. We are moving slowly into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of spiritual connection, united once again, awakened, acknowledged, and embodied. That's where we are entering. So the split is happening, the split between the technological evolution and conscious evolution. Not that they are separated, but they're kind of opening two different ways, two different paths. Some people will decide to only evolve technologically, and it will lead them to the point where they will be able to transition their consciousness into an artificial being, artificial body, with the promise that they will be able to live eternally. But the other path is leading us into the evolution of consciousness, where you will actually wake up to the understanding that you're already living eternally, you're just changing your bodies. And in this path, you will awaken back to your senses, your true senses, your what in spiritual traditions were called as spiritual senses. And on this path, people will awaken back to the truth. People will recognize who they truly are. So what's happening right now, many people are already experiencing these symptoms of awakening. And for some people, memories are coming in from ancient lives, maybe from past lives. And sometimes people are experiencing suddenly seeing light beings and entities from higher dimensions guiding them, and suddenly some people experience all kinds of memories and vivid dreams and seeing UFOs and things like that out of nowhere, and they think that they are going crazy, especially if you talk about this with someone who's not going into this direction. It doesn't mean that you're spiritually minded. It doesn't mean that you're following certain beliefs. It's happening to you because you're opening to the senses. You don't need to have any beliefs around it. Actually, if it's happening to you and you have no knowledge about what's happening, and it is often like that, and somebody will say to you, oh, your chakras are activating, you will say, what are you talking about? It's not about holding some beliefs around what's happening, but actually acknowledging ourselves of what's happening to us in our own way. Like, yesterday I've mentioned that between the cosmic self, or this cosmic mind or field consciousness, and your individual self is intellectual self. Between that cosmic self and individual self is intellectual self. And intellectual self is building the connection. So you may experience once again this great unity, the connection with the sensation of who you truly are. An intellectual self is this self that is built up with knowledge, with understanding, with wisdom. That's why ancient philosophers were all about wisdom. They were always talking. And if you study any philosopher, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, whoever, you will notice they were talking about wisdom. That the greatest virtue is living for wisdom, learning to be wiser. So what does it mean? It means that you're constantly building up your capacity of understanding yourself and life around yourself. So you stop feeling separated and being all egoistic about who you are and what you've accomplished. And you start noticing that you're part of the nature. You're part of this ecosystem. You're part of the universe. You're a dot that's making a beautiful picture called life. You're a part of it. If you would zoom out, because of you, the picture is complete. When you zoom in, there's you, individual self. And once you notice that, you can't just believe into it. Like sometimes people believe they're part of the universal consciousness without experiencing anything like that. So they only hold beliefs into it, but when it comes to trusting life, they can't because they haven't experienced this connection. So we have to go through the inner experience of it. And the process of spiritual awakening that is happening to many people right now is this process. People out of nowhere start having these experiences. And sometimes they feel like they're going crazy. Maybe you feel like you're going crazy because so many things like that are happening to you. And then if you talk about this with somebody, like I said before, who has nothing to do with that, who's not choosing this direction, they will say to you, you're going crazy, something weird is happening to you. And then you have two choices: to move on with it and seek where it is leading you, or to say no to this and stay ignorant. And ignorance is the only evil. That's what Socrates said, that's what Plato said, and most probably that's what all the ancient alchemists said, and most probably all the philosophers believed into. Ignorance is the only evil because it prevents us from truly knowing what the truth is. The truth is a personal experience of life. And that's why it's so important to get yourself onto the quest of self-knowledge, to firstly acknowledge yourself, what you're feeling, what you're sensing, what is going through, why you feel anxious, why you feel scared, why you feel afraid, why you don't resonate with those people. Not blaming them, not saying, oh, those are toxic people, oh, those are toxic things. Toxicity is poison. Those people are not poisoned. They're just people who have different opinions, different beliefs. You don't resonate with them, so you don't need to pay much attention to them. You don't need to, hang with them if you don't feel connected to them. Don't blame them. Free yourself and put yourself onto a quest of a journey of learning, of growing. Because really all excitement and joy comes from growth. And the beginning of spiritual awakening is truly an initiation into a higher and deeper growth of yourself. It's like, before the spiritual awakening, you are like a seed. You've been planted here, but you haven't looked through the surface. You are beneath the surface. That's why you feel partially asleep. When we look around us, most people are like that. Most people are asleep. But then spiritual awakening is like looking, kind of peeking through the surface, seeing the light, seeing the wonders of your surroundings, seeing all colors that are surrounding you, all animals, all creatures, and all kinds of wonderful things. And it feels scary, but it feels exciting at the same time. But as you start growing through the surface, you also notice danger. You notice there are dangerous species. You notice there are some people who want to step onto you. There are some people who want to pull you out. There are some people who want to blame you for whatever. And then you grow through it and you learn to handle all of those different forces. And it just means that you learn to handle your emotions. You learn to handle your mind, your psychology. You learn how your mind uniquely works, how your emotional system works. And most probably at this point, you will feel drawn to knowledge like epigenetics, where you will learn that actually each thought activates a neuron in the brain, which signals blood, which gives you a sensation of feeling something, sensing something. We call it emotion because it emanates, that sensation emanates light. It's proven in the DNA studies. Each emotion emanates light out of your body, and actually more positive emotion, more the DNA opens up and it starts emanating stronger light. More negative emotion, more the DNA will close down and starts emanating less light. There's a great book called The Field where you can read about that a lot. You will notice how powerful your mind is, how powerful your body is, your emotional system. So we have to acknowledge ourselves, what's happening and who we are and how much we are actually connected to everything. So if this is happening to you, just make sure that you don't believe to a person that comes to you and judges you or defines you for something they believe that is happening to you. It's a self-awakening process. It's a process where you come back to your senses through ability to think freely for yourself, to decide for yourself, to choose for yourself freely, to notice what are your individual personal needs, to notice that maybe right now your cup of life is empty and you need to fill it. You need to do something about it so your cup of life can fill up. If you feel like that, that's something you have to do. So, you see, it's a path of independency because it leads you into the path of service when you become mature enough. But until you're there, you don't need to think, oh, how I will serve with that. You have to think, how will you survive? How will you learn to thrive? Before that, you were just surviving, right? And now as you're waking up, you're learning all about your senses, all about your mind, all about your emotions, all about your body, and all about your unique individuality, your talents, your gifts, your skills you're developing through life, and all these synchronistic events that happened in the past that taught you certain lessons. Now you're kind of managing all of that happened and kind of organizing all of those experiences and wisdom and lessons you've learned into a constructive manner, so you can start walking into a certain direction that feels the most purposeful, meaningful, beneficial for you. And at some point you will notice that you've accumulated so much of knowledge, so much of experiences that you can't hold yourself back but sharing it with others. That's just the process that happens because that's what we are meant doing. When you see rose that is growing, firstly it's vulnerable. And it keeps growing and it needs water and it needs light. And it's growing until at some point it opens up and it starts blooming. And when it starts blooming, it also starts at some point sharing seeds. It opens up and with the help of wind, it spreads seeds for the next generations. And that is the process of self-awakening. When we explain it in a different way, there's nothing mystical to it. It's a process of life that is happening. Before that, we were below the surface. We were kind of blindly walking around, following the opinions of others, the judgments of others, the definitions of others, who we are. But then we look through the surface and we notice, well, life is much different than we thought it is. It's so vast. We have so many different senses. Even till then we've been suppressing emotions. Now we sense intuition. Now we suddenly sense the energy around us. We sense thoughts of others. We may see light things and all kinds of different things. And we have to gain an understanding of why it is happening and how it is possible that you can sense energy. Go into quantum physics. You will learn how it is possible. Because atoms are not separated from each other. One atom is not separated from another, and your body is made out of atoms. And in atoms you find particles. If you take those particles from one atom and you take one particle from to the one part of the universe and another particle to the other part of the universe, when you will expose that one particle to something different, simultaneously the other particle will change as well. That's how connected we are. So when you change yourself, you change the world. And when everyone change something positively within themselves, the change may not be visible at the beginning, but eventually it will appear. In the collective, it will appear. That's why this is such a beautiful process. And I want you to be patient with yourself. If it's kinda intense for you right now, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're grounding yourself, nurturing your body. You have to remind yourself you are here physically. So your body needs to be strong, it needs to be healthy, it needs to be well nurtured, it needs to be where it feels safe often. Not always, but often, frequently. Go into nature. That's where your body feels at home. Meditate there. Reconnect with nature. And feed your body with something that can nurture your body well. Like a well water, some nutritious food, something that can, that can help you to feel good and to feel alive. Make sure that you take care of that. Even if it's intense, it will calm down, it will ground into your system, and at some point you will feel much more acknowledged about what's happening. And when you feel drawn to books, something I was talking yesterday in the video about the full moon, you may feel really drawn to certain knowledge. Go into it, explore it, see what it is offering to you. What doesn't resonate with you, let it go. It's not for you. Look for what resonates with you. Your heart will be guiding you. This is ancient wisdom. Actually, it's 30,000 year old wisdom that says your heart will be guiding you. Most probably it's even older. So always take what resonates with you. My friends, thank you so much for being here, for watching this. I hope you found something valuable today. I'm sending you all lots of love, blessings, and power. And thanks to everyone for supporting my art in our Etsy store. I Draw My Passion. You're all truly appreciated. Till next time, one love.